C.J. Spiller, Jacoby Ford are two of the breakaway threats in college football. They've returned, I think, 4 kicks already for touchdowns this year. And obviously both those players are exciting. C.J. Spiller has had a fantastic year. He's had a fantastic 4 years. And hopefully we can contain him a bit. We need to give us a good chance. But other than that, we're looking forward to the ball game. Our guys came back from break. We weren't very sharp last night. We looked like we hadn't practiced in about 3 days. So hopefully we can be a little sharper this afternoon when we practice and on through the week. But we're pretty healthy. Cliff Matthews, I think, should be pretty close to full go. Other than that, just the same injuries we had early in the year with Travian Robertson, Rodney Paul being the 2 biggest out. So hopefully we can put together our best game of the year, and we'll try to do our best here. Saturday afternoon, high noon, 12 o'clock kickoff. Any questions?
Coach, Clemson gave up, I think, 24 points to NC State, 21 to Virginia, 2 of the worst teams, I think, in the ACC. What do you see that you work against that defense?
Glenn, they, again, are pretty highly ranked in most of all the defensive categories. And they've got a ton of turnovers, as we all know, 20 intercepts. I'm not sure how many fumbles, 5 or 6, something like that. So they've gotten their share of the crucial turnovers to help them win the games. But they're a good defense. You know, I wish we could sit here and say we're going to go up and down the field, but we've not really gone up and down the field on anybody we've played. So we hope to run the ball. We hope to run the ball and stay on the field and mix it up. That's what we hope to do.
You mentioned C.J. Spiller. He's gotten a lot of mention this year for the Heisman Trophy. What kind of things do you think, if he hasn't already assured himself of getting an invitation to New York, what does he need to do in these next couple of games to do that, and is he going to be on your ballot?
Bob, I'm getting enough trouble talking about who I vote for, so I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. So, yeah, let's hope he has a big game in the ACC championship game. That's what I keep hearing about Tebow and Ingram and all those guys, that if they have a big one in their championship game. But again, that's that's something that will play out for all those guys, and he could be in contention. Yeah, he and Mark Ingram, and of course the quarterbacks, McCoy, Tebow. I guess there's 5 or 6 of them still in contention. And again, a lot of that voting comes down to, hey, who had the big last game, the big championship game, seems to determine that winner a lot.
Coach, this is a Clemson team that's strung 6 games together since being written off after the Maryland game. What's been the key?
They've done a good job. Dabo and his coaches have done a good job of keeping their guys together through sort of a difficult early going there. But those games they were losing were all close ones, and they looked back and saw where they possibly could have won them. It wasn't like they were getting blown out or anything. So they have a good team. They had a good team starting the year. And they finally sort of started putting it together, and they won the close ones against Miami and FSU. So they've lost some close ones early, but certainly have made up for it with those 2 big wins that put them in position for their division championship thus far.
Steve, Virginia had some success, I think, in the Wildcat against Clemson. Is this the week you might look to do some of that?
Oh, let's hope so. We say that every week, don't we? And there's a lot of offense that we've practiced most of the year that somehow or another just haven't gotten to. But yeah, we don't need to hold anything back, that's for sure. But whether or not we get to it, we'll just have to wait and see.
How important is this game from a standpoint of regaining momentum, Coach, and breaking that losing streak and getting to possibly a better bowl game?
Oh, every game's very important, and like I said, the biggest game of the year for us. No question about it. So I don't know how much bigger it can be. And I know it's the biggest one for our fans. And we know the history, but really what we need to talk about is how we can play our best, how we can go out and execute our assignments the entire game. That's what we need to concern ourselves with as we approach this game. The team that has the best preparation during the week and then plays the best on Saturday will probably be the winner.
Steve, you said you know the history of the series. What's your explanation for why Clemson is so dominated the series?
I don't have the answer for that, Ron. I just feel like talking about the past absolutely does us no good. Worried about the game this week. I really believe the game this Saturday will stand on its own merit, like all games do. So, again, hopefully we can put together our best effort of the year. Hopefully we can play without some crucial errors that have hampered us, like I said. But I don't have the answer for that.
Steve, let me go just slightly off track.
The only answer I can say is maybe they've had better teams in South Carolina over the years. People always ask me how did we start beating Georgia all of a sudden. I say because we had better teams in the 90s. And so maybe that's an answer. I don't know.
Steve, just can you talk about your relationship with Jimmy Sexton and what he's meant to your career?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have as strong a relation as some of those other guys. You can ask Eric Hyman. He's not been involved in our negotiations. I've always done most of all mine. But I did use him a little bit several years ago in a situation, yeah. He's a good guy. Yeah, I like Jimmy.
Coach, how discouraging was last year at Clemson? And have you addressed that with your team this season, especially the attitude the way it was last year?
Oh, some of the other games were more discouraging than that one because we had our chances in all the other ones. They just flat beat us last year. We were sort of in disarray and had a lot of guys going in different directions, I guess. Maybe coaches too. So look back on some games, you say, they just got beat, and you move on. But our team is together. Almost, like I said, all of us, we're going to be here another month practicing for some bowl game. So I think we all like each other, all the coaches. I certainly hope and plan every one of our coaches are going to be back next year. So we're a together team. We've lost some games in a row to some good teams. All of them have winning records. One of them was number one in the country that we fought pretty even there for 3 quarters till we had a crucial bad play. But our team's together. We're looking forward to the game. We want to try to have fun this week, and you play your best usually when you're having fun competing. That's what we're going to try to do.
Steve, to Ron's question about, you said you didn't want to talk about the past regarding the series, but with all the young players you have looking at the future, how much would a win Saturday mean for your program?
Well, we don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about what we need to do to put ourselves in position to be successful. So that's what we need to concern ourselves with. And sometimes I think all of our players need to do a better job with that. Just keep competing throughout the game rather than worrying about the win or the loss. The good teams just keep playing and try to make the plays that are necessary to be successful. And when it's all over with, then you hopefully have made enough good plays and your team's played well enough, coached well enough that you're on top. So we don't really sit around and talk about what if. We need to talk about what do we need to do to beat these guys? Give ourselves the best chance to beat them. That's what we're trying to talk about.